Whew. Wholeness. Today is 8/16. I'm already done my reading yesterday about my perspective, on what today was going to bring. I also alluded to tomorrow, which is 8/17, being a kind of an exceptionally heavy day because a lot of people be introducing to their gatekeepers. So I'm going to do two things. I'll come back on here and do a reading about my perspective with the gatekeeper energy, which you hear me call the 88s. It's your traumatic memory points. But we're going to dive into my reading for what the fuck is going on out here by my perspective for 8/17, which in my number system says I'm struggling with what I'm starring in. And more intimately, I'm struggling with the potential me. 1 is potential, 7 is self-awareness. I am struggling with everything that's going on around me that is potentially what I'm becoming. The problem with that is if you are not solidified in who you are almost always operating out of what I call safe mode. You're operating out of less than wholeness automatically, but when you're operating out of safe mode, it's kind of like a wounded animal. You don't really think things all the way through. You become more trauma responsive. You become more trauma triggered, trauma bonding, and not clear emotions. So tomorrow, where people are going to be struggling in the shit they starring in, the most simplified way to get out of what you're starring in is figure out why you're starring in it. Again, that goes for all levels, from the simplest form of relationship to the ever-pressing financial burdens, to your affiliations with governments and allegiances to others and things like that. It's like, if it's not showing me reciprocity, and this is hard, in this human experience that most of us have tricked ourselves into buying into, in this human experience, not operating from reciprocity or with reciprocity leaves you in a struggle. So, like I was saying, the easiest way to break the cycle with something is to assess the reciprocity. If the reciprocity ain't there, then you already set yourself up for failure. Now you have to undo the self-sabotage and the programmings that make you keep on investing and having this dirty word here, expectations. Expectations get you fucked up. The only thing that gets you fucked up more than knowledge is expectations. So it is what it is. So tomorrow, 8/17, where you are struggling in what you're starring in, ask yourself why you're starring in it. And furthermore, if you're going to call yourself starring in it, are you being paid properly? And this ain't always money. This is energy. Are you being paid properly? Are you only being cast as the villain? And some of y'all are fine with that. And again, that's some deeper level trauma shit y'all need to start working on. Some of y'all are fine with being the bad guy in somebody else's story because you have not found yourself ready to be the star in your own. You understand what I'm saying? You rather have some mess going on than no mess going on. But the common word was mess. Get out of that idea of thinking that you got to have mess. That's that poverty consciousness. That's that struggle mentality. A lot of people need to break that cycle. But I'm telling you, when I do that 88 reading, it's not going to resonate for a lot of you. But if you can see through what I'm saying and not get into your feelings, you'll understand that, holy shit, I keep doing a lot of this shit because there's parts of me that like the shit. It don't like being still. It don't have a desire to show me something clear that is going to have a better energetic signature. I almost said that word, output. That can be a mind game in itself. You got to stop thinking that you have to do something. Just be. Just be and see what all the options are. So when you keep tricking yourself into just always having something going on, a lot of times that's a deflection from sitting still and doing the work on yourself. And sometimes the work on yourself is realizing that, holy shit, there is no work at all until I keep creating something. So 8/17. 8, what am I struggling with? And again, in my number system, abundance is a duality. I can have an abundance of bills, that's a bad thing. And I have an abundance of money, that's a good thing until it becomes a bad thing. So 8 really in my personal number system is the struggle with the thoughts of your head. There is too many thoughts in my head that are trying to make me move. What's that 8? That one, the magician, the alchemist within me. The alchemist within me will become the manipulator. Why? Because if I give more energy into what potentially can move me than credence for what should be making me keep still, I'm lost. That's like a lot of people don't understand this, or a lot of people get mad when I say that. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say, but that's the same thing as somebody who has sexual addiction going into a brothel. Not smart. If you have a sexual addiction and you trying to stay out of your addiction, but then you go into an environment where sex is the norm, you can be like Pookie on New Jack City, sitting there in the corner smoking and sweating. It keep calling me. No, you keep showing up. Oops. You keep showing up. You potentially keep alchemizing yourself, trying to alchemize an environment when, like I told you a few minutes ago, figure out why. Why am I putting myself in environments that are going to require me to use my magic? That'll hurt a lot of you. Because I'm strong, and because I'm going through my dark goddess phase, or because I'm this, I'm that. You can lie to yourself all day long. But if you keep putting yourself in environments that require you to test and show and prove who you are, you're the fool. I don't have to show you shit. Well, I gotta show you. Hey, that's a choice. So potentially the first form of manipulation is me because I don't know my own magician. I'm gonna burn myself. Why? You see them two ends of a candle? That's at 11. Holy shit, that's that goal. See yesterday's reading. That's that 11. You're going to justify separating yourself from your magic without realization that you are the magic. So separating yourself from your magic is separating you from you. But that's the 8. What's the struggle? Manipulator. You don't understand you're the manipulator, so you're probably trying to pin the tail on a donkey. 17. What are you starring in? Holy sheep shit, Batman. The manipulator is starring in manipulation. Why? 24. In my number system, 2, connection, knowledge. 4, the trap, things that have already been created. I now know what's been created, but I know I got to go through it. Why do you got to go through it? Because I created it. Most of you won't admit that, though. Most of you won't admit that you created the situations you're going through. You just know that I got to go through it to get back into being me. Take your time with that one. Why? I'll break that 17 down for you. The 17 already said you starring in some manipulation. Why? Look at the components of 17. It was that potential. You sacrificed yourself. Hangman, you're going to hang yourself up into something that is going to try and tell you what journey you need to go through. That's that 7. Self-awareness. 7. The chariot. I'm on a journey to be me. The best way to go on a journey, to being you is to just be you. But here's what the 7 in this manipulation situation is showing. You're already a victim. You already a victim. You are the 8. You are the struggle. Why? Because you have a victim's mentality. AKA, you're already under sabotage. You're already trauma responsive. And that's the majority of us in this realm. We are on some levels. I'm sorry. Show me somebody who does not have some form of trauma left in their system. I'll show you somebody who ain't here. Even if you can say, well, they learned to master that. No, they learned to master not being responsive, but it doesn't mean that the trauma still ain't there. Okay, I don't respond to majority of the things that used to traumatize or trigger me, but that don't mean that they're still not there. That just means I don't hold a value for them. I don't star in them. I'm not going to sacrifice myself to manipulative energies that only intend to make me the victim. Why do they want to make you the victim? Because they are victim energies themselves. The age-old like attract likes. Misery only wants company. When you run into miserable people who only want to pull your energy, it's because they don't have an exact value for their own, and they need you to establish that same level of value. Or if you want to go into psychic vampirism, they need to feed from you to feel better about themselves. Why are you starring in shit shows? And sometimes, like I've been saying on the past couple of days, when it starts getting down to the familial sense or the relationship level sense, in these moments, in this day and age, it becomes harder to separate yourself from others, especially when you have invested in others as what's going to help you hold yourself together. You just got to get better about holding yourself together without the necessity of others. And that'll show you true reciprocity versus reflections. So 817 already showed you where I'm a manipulator in a manipulation. Why? Because I keep sacrificing myself to things that want to put me in struggle, and I'm going to always end up being the victim. 8 plus 1, 9. 9 plus 7, 16. Holy shit, what's today? 16, the Tower card. Remember yesterday's reading, I told you today will show you half of the struggle, but half of the struggle is your inner chaos. So in this reading right here, we just ran back to the 16. You are potentially traumatized. 1, potential. 6, your traumas, your infinite field of choices where you can become something else. That is a lie. Becoming something else is a lie. I'm sorry, it requires too much energy. You can try and transmute it and become your truth, but it's not reality. So, boy, I could go many places with that, but just let your life tell your tales on that one. So 16 will show you where the chaos is within you, and if you don't love yourself properly, you'll probably fight to make others accept you where you don't even accept yourself. You done sacrificed yourself from your hang-ups that made you become a victim, and now you're a martyr. You sacrificed your own energy into something that told you, I'm only going to make you a victim, and now you're the martyr. What's the martyr? The person that is sacrificing their energy into something that ain't going to make a fucking change. Basically everything I just said. You ain't did nothing but lost yourself. You ain't did nothing but harmed yourself. If the inner chaos within me is the issue, but all I'm doing is trying to create things externally to help me fix the internal, I've only harmed myself. Because I'm using what's in harm to create something that's going to heal me. Best example, you don't love yourself, but you're going to invest your energy in somebody else that you potentially want to love you, but they can't love you more than you love yourself. But you can lie yourself about that shit too, and then you get mad when all sides of the equation fall apart. But look, I digress. 16, Tower card, martyr, chaos within, but you out here trying to create orders. Now you're out here door dashing yourself. 16 becomes 7. I'm on a journey to become me by changing who I am that I never learned to love wholly into what I think is going to be a better version of myself. That, when I go back and do it, that is the 88s. The 88s are the traumatic core memories that never learned to make it to their own end of their experience, so they only want to control the experiences around them so that they don't have to bring themselves into wholeness. So that journey, that 7, that identity that you think is you, that's not you. That's just your traumas. It's just your traumas. But you're going to lie, La Luna, and tell yourself it's reality. You're going to tell yourself reality because the best way to keep that energy in balance is to keep feeding it whatever it wants, your abundance. And then as long as it has your abundance and keeps you in the cycle of hanging yourself up, that'll be the safest reality. That, again, is the 88 function, is to keep you doing anything as long as you are not working on a level that will set it beyond release. And in this case, it will be your thoughts. So your thoughts will help you form a safer reality by emotionally make you investing all your potential, one, into what's got you in struggle. But what's got you in the struggle? You got yourself in the struggle with your own magic. And now you're out here trying to manipulate everything else around you. But if everything else around you is the results of the magic that you invested, it's all you. Damn. I'll be back with them 88s. A lot of y'all won't understand it because you've invested into this version of you that you think is you. And I will say this, if this version of you that you think is you is showing you what you want to see, kudos, motherfucker. But if this version of you ain't showing you what you want to see and you keep investing into this struggle mentality of having to do this, that, and the other to become something else, you might be the fool. We've all been there. Some of you just refuse to leave.